Hello, students. Today we are going to talk about the topic radioactivity as a phenomena and radioactivity as emission of different types of radiations. Now, before starting with the topic, if you want to improve and excel in maths and science, then don't forget to check out the micro courses offered by Infinity Learn and also use the coupon code HU10 to get extra 10% discount. More details and link are given in description. Now coming back to the topic, let us first understand what is radioactivity and how was it discovered. So the phenomena of radioactivity was first discovered by Henry Becquerel back in 1896, where coincidentally when he left a uranium salt in black paper on a photographic plate in a dark room, after some days he was surprised to see that the photographic plates have been affected. And he repeated this procedure with different salts of uranium and he found the same effect. So he concluded that uranium and its salts, they emit some kind of radiation. Later on it was called as Becquerel rays. And radiations were later on found out to be of three types. One, positively charged radiations, which are called as alpha particle. Then there are these negatively charged particles, which are called as beta particle. Then there is one more type of radiation which is neutral in nature and it is called as gamma radiation. So any substance which disintegrate or decay by spontaneous emission of these radiations are called as radioactive substances, and the isotopes of nearly all the elements which are having atomic number greater than 82 are basically radioactive. Now let us talk about radioactivity as a nuclear phenomena. So based on the observation, it was found that any physical change like change in temperature or pressure or chemical change like freezing or overheating or adding some chemical or oxidation, it does not change the nature of radiation emitted by the substance and neither the rate of decay was changing. So it was understood that the radioactivity cannot be happening due to the orbital electrons, because any change in any chemical change or physical change reflects on the orbital electrons. Therefore the radioactivity should be the property of the nucleus. Therefore it was concluded that radioactivity should be the property of the nucleus, and thus radioactivity is a nuclear phenomena and it is the process of spontaneous emission of alpha, beta and gamma radiations from the nucleus of atom during their decay. Finally, let us understand how they identified the radioactivity as emissions of three different types of radiations, alpha, beta and gamma. So it was Rutherford who studied the nature of radiation emitted by radioactive substances in 1903. What he did was he took a thick block made up of lead through which radiations can barely pass, and he kept the radioactive substances inside this material and he kept a small opening at the top of the box. So what happened was these radiations were coming out of this small hole, and what he did was this entire region above the block was having a perpendicular magnetic field. The crosses over here represent that magnetic field is inside the paper or the screen. So the radiations that came out, some part of the radiation, it turned towards the left, which was necessarily the positively charged particle, and later on they were labeled as alpha particles. Then there were some particles, some section of the radiation that bended towards the right and they were labeled as beta particles. There were some radiations that passed through without deviation and they were labeled as gamma radiations. Now the direction of positive and negatively charged particles is given by Fleming's left hand rule. He repeated the experiment with electric fields. So the plates were given positive and negative charges. Now once again the radioactive material gave out radiation from the small opening at the top, and the radiations got divided into three different streams. One got deviated towards the negative plate, and it is understood that the radiation going towards the negative plate must be positively charged particles, and these were labeled as alpha particles. Then there were radiations that bended towards the positive plate, and these must be the negatively charged particles, which were labeled as beta radiations. And finally there were radiations that went straight without deviation, which were gamma radiations. Now these gamma radiations are nothing but electromagnetic waves which are not having any charge, and therefore they are not deflected by electric or magnetic field. I hope the topic of radioactivity as a phenomena and emission of different types of radiation is clear to everyone. Thank you very much.